coming.
All right, we'll get started here. Thank you all for coming. We're pleased to have Profile by Sanford here with us today. They were actually at our health fair back in October, if anyone got to stop by their booth. They have those yummy protein truffle bites that you got to try. So they're right over by the 70th and Pioneers location. And I just wanted to mention that we do have several of our associates that are using this program right now, and it's been very successful for them. So this is also it qualifies for the weight loss reimbursement. If that's something you're interested in, this program would qualify. So I'm going to turn it over to the gentleman from Profile, and I'll unlock the computer for you.
Hey, there we go. Back at it. Thank you, Rachel. Awesome. I'm really excited to talk to you guys all today. I'm very new to the Lincoln area. My name is Jake. Like she said, I'm with Profile by Sanford. I actually live in Sioux Falls, South Dakota right now. Profile by Sanford, our main healthcare system is Sanford Health. It's a large healthcare system based kind of in the Midwest and the Dakotas there. Our largest location in Fargo, in Sioux Falls. It's kind of where our main company lives. And then I live there and I work with Profile. I'm kind of a regional manager, kind of operational specialist. Really haven't got a full defined title yet, I guess you could say. And so I kind of travel around and kind of spend some different time at 8 of our locations. We have 22 locations nationwide right now. Lincoln is our first franchise store, so I'm kind of spending an extended amount of time here in Lincoln, just kind of getting them going as we kind of get our business running with the franchise and everything. So I'm very excited. I've been here for about 4 weeks now. Steve's our franchise owner. He's getting sick of me by now. But like I said, I've been here for about 4 weeks, getting more familiar with Lincoln, and it's very exciting what we're trying to do here in Lincoln and all across the country. So kind of what my topic will be today is the power of choice. I really feel very strongly about our culture and our society. It seems like there's choices everywhere. There's so many different options for anything that you want to do. The power of choice oftentimes is great, but at the same time provides a lot of limitations to us. And so I kind of want to just talk through more with that, some different tools for you guys to work through that choice and work through some of those scenarios that we need to kind of help you become healthier, help you become overall well-being for yourself to be improved. So kind of an overview. I like to keep my presentations pretty informal. So if you have any questions, feel free to just interrupt. I'm not going to take offense to that. So kind of overview, what we're going to do is a quick introduction to myself and a little background on me. Further, tools to make the right choice I think is very important. When giving a presentation, to provide insight and tools and kind of something that you guys can take from it. So I don't want to just sit up here and yap and you guys kind of lose interest in 10 minutes. I want something that you guys can take from this. So hopefully I provide value to you guys throughout the next 30, 45 minutes through this to make the right choices. And we kind of break that down specifically with our program, but I think just overall in the nature of our human being, I think breaking it down between nutrition, activity, and lifestyle is very important. Those are 3 areas that we really can kind of dive into. I love the quote. I don't know if anybody has ever seen it. It's 70% diet, 30% gym. I believe in that. I think it's so important how you feel your body. So I think that's huge to kind of break that down. The nutrition aspect, the activity aspect is obviously very important as well. Making sure we're staying active, engaged in the different pieces of our lives. And then to me, lifestyle, emotional behavior, I think that is a huge resource and different pieces that we can work on. Hopefully I provide some tools for that. So like I said at the end, I hope to provide value for you and something that you can apply to your life. So kind of a personal background on me. I went to school at South Dakota State University up in Brookings, South Dakota. Played football there for 5 years. Did play here at Nebraska. Played I think my junior year in 2011 or 2010, something like that. We played UNL, Nebraska, Lincoln here. We got beat, but obviously we probably should have. Good experience. From there, I went on to University of Sioux Falls. I graduated with my MBA in healthcare administration. And then since then, I've kind of been working with Profile for the last year. Like I said, we're about 2-3 years old. I think the pilot program started about 3 years ago, and since the last 2 years, we've really kind of expanded even more. So when I started about a year ago, we had 4 locations. Like I said, now we have 22 locations nationwide. So it's very rapidly growing. It's very exciting to be a part of. It's a lot of fun to kind of be, I'm traveling all over the country right now, so very exciting for me. But the biggest thing that I always kind of tell people that is very passionate about me is to make a difference. The passion is mad. When I was in college, my head football coach, Coach Stig, we always called him, but he had this MAD manual. This MAD manual is something I'll probably take with me the rest of my life. It was this manual of probably 200, 300 pages of different experiences, quotes, stories, Bible verses, different things like that. He was a very religious guy. It was a very intriguing and very beneficial tool that I thought he engaged with us. Every night during fall camp, it was kind of, at times, we didn't really enjoy it as much because it was after a long day of practice and different things like that. But he almost had like a half-hour sermon that he went over a different piece in that MAD manual. Very, very beneficial. I think for college kids at that age, at that time, it was very beneficial. So, I know that's kind of beyond the scope of a lot of the population here, but I bring that up because it's very important. I get that a lot, that people will say, you've never been overweight, or you've never been through the challenges that I've faced. You don't have that experiences, but oftentimes we have. And even at my age, I played defensive end. I was a big guy. I had a lot to weight to lose. I had a lot of sloppy weights to lose. That was a challenge. I exercised and worked out hard, but I also ate like a garbage disposal. I could eat whatever I wanted because I burned it off so much. And so that was kind of a challenge for me when I was done to change my lifestyle and adapt that. Similar to what a lot of people facing the same challenges they go through today. So I can relate to a lot of those pieces, and at the same time, I think the experiences that I've had, the experiences that I've seen in working in this population has been very beneficial to put me in a position to make a difference for that. So like I said, very passionate about making a difference, having a positive impact in people's lives. I think that's our purpose here. That's why we're here, and that's what we're trying to do. So the best thing about our program, and again, when we get into the choice, our whole program, I think, is very individually tailored to that philosophy. So it's kind of great to see the resources that we have within that. So diving more into our choice, as I laid out this presentation, it was kind of the best thing for me to break it down to a little biggest in terms of the focus of how we're going to go through this. So like I said, we talk about choice, we talk about so many different pieces in our life. The types of food you're going to eat, the types of activity you're going to do at night, the type of behavior you're going to engage in, the activities that you're going to do with your families, with your coworkers, different pieces like that. Providing tools, I think, is very beneficial. I think we have to find reasons for you to understand the why behind what you're doing. Our current COO of Profile shared a very important article not too long ago with us that kind of said, as leaders of the company, it's very important to be an effective leader. You have to make sure the employees understand the why behind what they're doing. Don't just tell them what to do. Have them buy in and understand the why. Give them a reason. That's what a great leader does. And so I think having tools to provide the why for that is very important. From there, you kind of transition into the bigger, making the choice. Okay, so we provide the tools of having those choices. Now, making the choice. What tools can you kind of use to make those choices? And we'll kind of talk about those a little bit more as well. And then the biggest overall, that lifestyle change is sustainability. It's making the change in your life, finding a reason, finding a purpose to make that change, and engaging in that change. I think that's a very, very important thing to make sure you engage into why that change is happening and what you want to do. So one of my most favorite directions that I've ever kind of been given was action become habits, habits become a lifestyle. Okay, those are kind of the way you really want to break it down and look into it. So if there's one thing to really take from today, that'd be probably one of the best things, is action become habits, habits become a lifestyle. That's huge to kind of understand that, it's not just about 6 to 8 months of making that change. It's making it a lifestyle. It's sustaining that change and understanding, again, the why. So the choice of healthy living. Okay, so we talk about, obviously there's so much of a big push right now in our culture, in our society, of that wellness, that healthy living, the fitness trend is kind of really going. We kind of ask ourselves why. Okay, so there's different health outcomes of why that can happen. Obviously losing weight and improving your quality of life, I think, is the most important. Not necessarily is it always just weight, but I think the emotional well-being kind of goes in tie with that. When you're more active, you're healthier, it provides different resources for you to do that. For instance, at Profile, I work with a lot of members that may come in, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, type 2 diabetics on insulin. It's so encouraging to me to see them 3-4 months down the road get off those meds, get off some of those pieces that they've battled throughout their entire life. It improves their quality of life. Stress reduction, I think, is huge. Obviously, when you have some of those barriers that kind of get in your way throughout your daily life, that can be challenging. So reducing those stress barriers is huge for everybody. So that's kind of a huge benefit. And from there, change will take root and grow. And we talk about the habits becoming a lifestyle. You have to kind of buy into that to take that change and let that kind of branch out and grow. It's a process. It's definitely something that doesn't just happen overnight. Any change that you do is definitely a process. And that's something I think a lot of people kind of get overwhelmed with, is they feel that they need to just make this change now. I have to make this change tomorrow. I got to start eating better tomorrow. I have to start working out more tomorrow. I have to start reading more tomorrow. I have to spend more time with my kids tomorrow. Yeah, that's great, but it's something that you have to make sure is sustainable. You have to let that take root and really grow in your life and your lifestyle and how you're going to do that. So again, tools that you can kind of provide to look at that long-term sustainability. I kind of have the example of my dearest mother. I think she is a great example of not only profile, but kind of the benefits that just making that change will have in somebody's life. So she grew up with an older brother and a younger sister, all active in sports. My dad was a football coach, high school coach, and teacher, and she was kind of the not most athletic person in high school. Which was fine. It was not like it was a problem, but I think it also oftentimes set her back in terms of trying to keep up with us. It was always kind of a constant battle for her to keep up with the different activities we were in, the different things that we were doing. We're always on the run and on the go. And I always bring up the example, when I was in high school, we went to Mount Rushmore. Climbing up the stairs at Mount Rushmore, she's got us 3 kids, my dad's in shape, running up the stairs, playing around with us, and she struggled. She couldn't get up the stairs. She had to stop, and she broke down into tears because she couldn't keep up with us. I always look back at that example, and I bring that up because now, about 2 years ago, she started Profile when we first started. She was having issues with she had gone into the doctor and had some issues that she needed to kind of lose weight to kind of pull her blood pressure was high, her cholesterol was high, some different pieces like that. So I encourage her, I said, hey, well, let's make a change. Let's make something that's sustainable. It's not just about taking the medicine to kind of help those areas, but let's make sure that this is a change that's sustainable. So I encourage her to try it. I just kind of started working with Profile. I really didn't even know what was going on with Profile at the time. So I encouraged her to try it. She did. She had a lot of success, and she really bought in. It was something to see her be more active, to see her riding bike, to see her walk more, to see her being encouraged by that. She bought a little Fitbit, and it was a challenge for her every night to get her 10,000 steps in. If she didn't have 10,000, she was walking around the house. And my dad was like, what do you have her doing? I was like, you really not her doing anything. It's what she wants to do. So at the same time, it was so encouraging to see her. I think this summer was one time I called her and I was like, what are you doing? What did you do this weekend? Oh, I went to a wine tasting with a few of my friends. I was like, well, wait. First off, you have friends? Second off, you're going to wine tasting? And it was really encouraging to hear her say a lot of the reason why she did that is because she feels so much better about herself. Her emotional well-being had really improved. And it was the simple concept of making that change and taking that initiative to grow in that change. The most encouraging thing I saw from her was when she really bought into making the change with Profile. She really bought into making a change for her life. It was something she was gung-ho. She was a go-getter about it. Again, it didn't happen overnight. She had challenges. She messed up every now and then. She had a few weeks that I don't like to use the word cheat, but she had a few times that she didn't really follow the plan to a T that we had set up for her. So it was a challenge for her at times, but at the same time, she was diligent. She stuck to it. She stuck to it long term. And it was a consistent lifestyle change that she followed through with. That's a huge benefit, I think, into the terms of overall success. And again, making that change and those choices that you make to make that change are very important. So I always use the example of her, as she's probably embarrassed to never say that. It's a good example. And again, I think we have a lot of members that we work with that we see that kind of same story. So tools. Now kind of dive into more of the potatoes here. So providing tools to make that change. Education, knowledge is power. We all know that. Okay, so I think a lot of times in the wellness and fitness industry, people will kind of look at that, and if you're not familiar with it or comfortable, they'll read an article, they'll see an ad, they'll see a magazine piece, a commercial or something like that, or a documentary, and they'll look at it and they'll just get overwhelmed. Okay, they try to grab so much information at once. Okay, or nobody's asking you to be experts. If you're not an expert in that field, that's what we're here for. That's what Rachel's here for. That's what a lot of different people are there for. But providing the knowledge, and again, we talk about the why, providing the knowledge and the why, a solid basic understanding of that is huge. So education, what we utilize in our program are simple 1 to 2 page education documents. We'll talk about the basics of change. We'll talk about stress reduction. We'll talk about the basics of nutrition 101. Reading nutrition labels, different pieces like that. Very basic stuff, 1 to 2 page documents that provide a foundation for our members to understand that. And again, I think buying into education and the why is very important. Accountability. A lot of times, there's got to be a purpose, there's got to be a reason why. And not only could it be for yourself to get healthier, but it might be for your husband, it might be for the coach that you're working for, it might be for your wife, for your kids, for your family. There's got to be a purpose into why you want to make that change. Okay, so one thing that I always do when I go on these trips, I'll spend 3-4 weeks at a different location, and it's always like, okay, well, I'm away from my friends, I'm away from my family, I'm away from my girlfriend. I don't have all these different encouragements, the negative encouragements. Hey, let's go get a beer. Oh, hey, let's go eat somewhere. So I'll give myself a little challenge. I'll give it's actually 16 behaviors that I kind of work through. That I'll actually check off every time that I get one right. So if I have 5 to 6 small meals, I drink a gallon of water. One of them is, I like to play the guitar, so one of them, that's my behavior. I practice the guitar for 30 minutes. And so I check that off every time I do that. Just different accountability factors that I have. It's encouraging for me to have to check off the box. It holds me accountable. So there are different tools that you can use for that. And again, self-efficacy, the belief that change is possible. That's very important. You have to believe that you can do this. A lot of people get afraid of the challenge of understanding, hey, can I make this change? Is this possible for me? Absolutely. Okay? Now, it might be a challenge, it might be kind of difficult, but that's something that we can help you with, and that's something that other people can help you with in different resources for you. So I always tell people, take the initiative, take the charge. It's something, again, going back to my mom's example, I would have never thought in a million years she would have been as passionate about it as she was. And she's the type of person now, it's her lifestyle. So I think anybody can do it. Obviously, anybody can do that. So being aware and being engaged are two different things. I think that's a huge point. We see that with our coaches on a daily basis. There's oftentimes that our coaches talk about, how do we engage our members? How do we provide value for our members on a daily basis? If you come into our location once a week, once every 2 weeks, get that coaching. How do you provide value to them? Okay, it's not just making them aware that this food is bad. It's not just making them aware that they need to exercise. It's providing a foundation that they understand and engaging with that member and engaging with that person that, hey, this is why I need to do this. This is what I need to do to make that change and that choice. So very, very important, I believe. Back to our education. I forgot I had this order here, but those are some of our example of an education module that we use. So again, simple 1 to 2 page documents to provide value to people, to our members on the knowledge and awareness, provides a purpose behind what we're trying to do. Again, you don't have to be an expert in all these fields. It's a simple concept of if you understand the why you're doing it and understand what's entailed in the foundation for it, it's very important. So some other different tools that we use, we have nutrition labels, portion controls, providing recipes and choices for people, activity, insight on exercise suggestions, proper form, time and intensity, very basic stuff. Again, by no means you have to be experts on it, but we'll provide those tools for you at a different peak level. And then to me, again, the most important, the lifestyle, dealing with the stress, dealing with the change, providing strategies for you to do that, different activities that we can provide to give you those tools in that change process. So, accountability, tiny habits become actions. Okay, so I'm a firm believer that triggers are kind of a valuable tool to use, and we'll talk about triggers more as we go here. But again, motivation, you gotta have the motivation. That can be done through the coaching or whatever purpose you want to have. But once you get that motivation, you make that change. Okay, what's going to set that change into action? Okay, you have the foundation, you have the encouragement, you have the belief that you can do it. Now, what's going to set that into place? Okay, triggers, I think, are a very, very important tool to call it into action. Okay, there's different things we do on a daily basis that provide those triggers and the tools for us to make that call to action. And again, it's a simple process of making that step-by-step change as you go through that lifestyle. So with that, it's finding a way to sustain it. One of the best things I've ever heard was it takes 21 days to make or break a habit. Okay, I think that's very common. You'll see that all over the place, 21-day fast, 21-day challenges, different things like that. There's reason for that. That's what they said, 21 days to make or break a habit. So finding a way to sustain it, again, that's why I use my little checklist thing. Okay, I check it off for 21 days. I find a tool and a habit that I kind of want to challenge myself with, a valuable tool to do. So again, habits are about repeating it. And from there, you talk about some common triggers. So I talk about triggers in our daily life. What are some of the things that people do right now in their common life that kind of limits them in their probably proper way they want to live? So after my alarm goes off, I hit snooze. Oftentimes I'm bad with that. I'll just hit snooze 5 times, and before you know it, Steve's calling me because I'm late. He's mad and everything, and it just doesn't work out well. So after I drink my cup of coffee in the morning, okay, I sit down and watch TV. I always think back in high school, my dad was number one. He was always late for school because he was sitting there watching Sports Center. I was like, don't you have to go? Like, I have to be here in like 5 minutes. And so it was always kind of interesting with that. After I use the bathroom, I crawl back into bed. After I plug my phone in at night, I surf the web / social media. Huge problem of mine. That's one thing that's on my checklist right now is limit social media. I think a lot of times people do that. And again, not that it's a bad thing, but it might be time spent otherwise, more valuable time. After I log into the computer at work, I'm a zombie. Okay, so those are some different examples of common triggers. I sat down with some of our coaches this weekend and we kind of came up with these. So I think there's different tools and direction with these that you can kind of take that. Again, it's finding those triggers and making that change. And so maybe some positive triggers that you can do after my alarm goes off, I will get out of bed. Obviously that's easier said than done, okay? But you make that challenge that you will get out of bed, okay? After I drink my cup of coffee, I will walk up and down the stairs, okay? Every morning, maybe that common thing that you do is you have a cup of coffee. You have to have your coffee in the morning, okay? So now every time you drink that cup of coffee, you're gonna walk up and down the stairs, okay? More steps, more activity, a different trigger you can use. After I use the bathroom, I will do 3 air squats, okay? Again, easier said than done, but that's a trigger. Okay, everybody uses the bathroom on a daily basis, obviously, and so every time you use the bathroom, you're going to stand up and do 3 air squats. Again, a trigger that we can use. After I plug my phone in at night, I will go to bed. One tool that I've started to do is my phone is plugged in, or my charger's on the other side of the room, where I'm staying, so I don't even lay there and play with it anymore. So typically it's dead by the end of the day because I'm on it so much. So, and then after I log into my computer at work, I will fill up my water bottle. Okay, so walking over and fill up your water bottle is a really kind of a good thing to do. So one of the best ones I've ever heard is in exercise, it's got to become a habit and a lifestyle that it's like putting on a pair of pants. Okay, you put on your pair of pants every day, you got to make sure you're exercising and doing some of those things every day. It's got to be that much of a common lifestyle for you, a habit for you. So I think those are some positive ones that we can try. So again, a trigger. A trigger is something common in our life that happens on a daily basis. You find that trigger, you find it's something you want to change with that, and you use that trigger to provide an insight for it. So we're going to try an activity. I hope nobody hates me. But every time the slide changes, that's our trigger. Okay? Every time the slide changes, we're going to stand up and sit down. Is that possible? There's only like 8 slides, I swear. There's one. We have one. There we go. Good. Thank you, Steve. Okay? So every time, again, it's a trigger. We're going to use that slide as a trigger to encourage us to kind of get up and stand up and sit down. So that's a good example. Next slide. Good. Okay. So now we talk about self-efficacy. Okay, self-efficacy is, again, the belief that we can do it. That kind of common core that you have inside yourself to kind of understand that this is possible. It's kind of that emotional well-being, the feeling, feeling these behaviors are working, that you can do this. Celebrate the behaviors. One thing one of our coaches shared is that she likes to run. So every time she runs, every time she crosses the mile, she'll kind of go woohoo. Okay? Okay, something that she tries, something that works for her, okay? Might be something every time you stand up and sit down, every time you fill up your water bottle, every time you walk up and down the stairs, give yourself a little pat on the back. Give yourself a I'm awesome type thing, okay? BJ Fogg, he's a behavioral specialist from Sanford University. I've researched and done a lot of different, or looked at a lot of different pieces from him. And that's one thing he does, is every time he has a tiny little behavior like that, he'll say, I'm awesome, okay? Again, very minor, kind of weird, I guess, if you want to look at it that way. But again, it's making that self-efficacy a belief that you can do this, a belief that you can have that power to make that change. I think that's very important. So other different tools, quarter in a jar, obviously that's a very common one that a lot of people will use. Every time that you maybe have that behavior or have a successful day, put a quarter in a jar. The checklist that I use, like I said, there's 16 behaviors, and forgive my math, I'm off here. But there's 16 behaviors through the 7 days. I think there's 112 possible points I can get in a week. So I have to get 90 points or 80 points to get 80%. So I have a percentage that I want to get to every week. So I do have a little room in there. Like for instance, one of them on there is no alcohol. Steve wanted to go to beer on Saturday nights, then I had to circle that box and I didn't get to check it. So that was one of the things that didn't give me, but I still made it last week, so we're good. But that's kind of the tool that I use with that checklist, is I have to get over 80% throughout the week. My checklist is broken down through 3 different areas: nutrition, activity, and lifestyle. Nutrition, like I said, is 5 to 6 small meals, fruits and veggies, gallon of water a day, and the exercise is different pieces like making sure I lift every day, making sure I run every day. So different things that I want to do. And then the behavior lifestyle side of things is reading. I like to read, so I make sure I at least read for a half hour, play my guitar for a half hour, different pieces like that. I'm not going to give you all 16. You'll think I'm weird if I do that. But, those are kind of the tools that I use. And again, now this week what I did, since I did get it last week, I bumped it up, so I have to get 90% this week. So just another challenge that I use. And again, after 3-4 weeks, those behaviors kind of become my lifestyle. It's kind of a natural process for me to read every night. It's a natural process for me to grab my guitar and play it every night. So just different tools that I use, I think is very beneficial. Change your environment. Our environment, again, oftentimes, there's so much choice in our environment. We talk about the power of choice. I always tell my mom, don't let my dad influence you bad. He still kind of does. He's an old farmer, so he's not going to change his ways at times. I shouldn't say that because we're talking about the power of change and choice, but he's an old farmer. He still likes to do his own little thing, and so I was like, don't fall into the behaviors of dad. Just because he wants the beef stew and different things like that, you can do your own. So that environment and having that choice available is often a challenge for her. I always tell her, just don't buy it. You buy the groceries, just don't buy those foods. It's that simple. And so that's a good way to kind of make sure that that environment is changed. And again, along the office setting, oftentimes doing it together with people is very beneficial. We see a lot of members in some of our employer partner programs that do it together with maybe their cube mate, their office mate, whatever it may be. A lot of different success holding each other accountable in that aspect. Mother, sons, husband, wives, mother, daughter. A lot of different success of holding each other accountable because their environments change together, because they're doing it together. So very beneficial, and again, repeating that to train yourself to make that automatic. You have to believe that that's possible, and you have to believe with each other that you can do that and that's possible. So, up to down. Look at that, we're on top of it. I like it. I made a little reminder on purpose. I figured you'd forget. So again, we talk about the culture of choice. Oftentimes, that's very difficult. Okay, you go to a restaurant. Since I've been in Lincoln, I love Laszlo's. I've gone there like 4 nights in a week. The 1 week I went 4 nights. The culture of choice. Okay, so it's difficult for me to not take the special. I don't remember what it was, but it was baked potatoes. Steve made fun of me for eating it, but the big baked potato type meal, and kind of lean towards that healthier option. Okay, we have so many different choices with our nutrition. So we look at the choice of nutrition, making the right choices. We look at the culture of choice. There we go. Good. We look at the culture of choice in our activity and our daily behaviors. You can choose to spend time engaging in activity, engaging in more of a positive lifestyle that way, or be more of a couch potato. That's oftentimes an easier choice, and that's why people lean towards that. But again, finding that motivation, finding that self-efficacy that you can make that choice, and there's a reason for it. There's a purpose for that change, that we want to make that change. So it's very important to kind of understand. I believe, we look at the activity portion of culture of choice to find that belief. You have to have a reason and a motivation to get out and do that activity. Good, thank you. From the behavior side, again, I talked about ways to improve our lifestyles, improve ourselves. When I was in grad school, oftentimes it was easier for me after a long day of working. I still work while I was going to grad school. After a long day, to just go home, sit on the couch, watch TV, play on social media, do that whole thing, or study, hit the books. Even now, it's easier for me said than done to maybe do those types of pieces, rather than, I think knowledge is power. I love reading leadership books. I love kind of doing those pieces. So I find a book and challenge myself with that, to read that. And that's a challenge of that choice of either reading or watching TV at night, or reading or the social media at night. So again, finding that purpose, finding that why is how you make those right choices. Good. I swear there's only like 2 left. Okay, so resisting change. Okay, so a lot of times common strategies, and this kind of got the very thorough, in-depth slide. I always follow the 7x7 rules: 7 down, 7 across. But this one there's so much good information. Change is challenging. Why is change challenging? Okay, so we look at the few areas that kind of define that. It's delay. Okay, you procrastinate, forget the things you really wanted to do. Okay, to have the example, I really do want to take the low-fat cooking class. I know it'll help, but I just don't have time. I'll sign up next time. Okay. Everybody has a busy schedule. Oftentimes, that's the challenge for people. One thing that I think I've kind of encouraged a lot of our members to have success with, and I think has really helped, is to plan out their day. And I know not every person kind of likes that kind of introvert, extrovert type personality that they can plan out their type of day, but structuring out their day that they provide time to improve themselves. And again, provide a reason why they want to do that. I think having a motivation that one day a week I'm going to spend 2 hours improving my life. Whatever it may be. I'm going to go to a cooking class, I'm going to read my book, I'm going to go to a seminar. Again, I use the example of my mom. She went to a church seminar 2 nights ago. She would have never signed up for it in the past. But she's got that motivation now that she's making a change for herself. And it's encouraging to see. So setting aside that time to do those different pieces is very important. Denial. You refuse to acknowledge an actual event or personal experience as apparent to others. The example is, I don't eat a lot of desserts. You say you finish your daily cookie at lunch. Again, accepting and understanding the why. I think with this one, understanding the why and that foundation of the education is very important. Okay, we find being able to accept that by understanding the change needs to happen and why that change needs to happen can be a huge benefit for us, and that kind of helps with that denial. Rationalizing, you conceal your feelings, thoughts, and actions by creating a set of reassuring or self-serving but incorrect explanations. An example, I can't change how I eat because I have to cook for me. Again, I use that example of my mom. Finding a way that she kind of does that for herself. Make sure she resists the change from my dad and all the different bad foods that he eats. But that's kind of important that she doesn't rationalize it. Okay, it's okay that I eat like this because everybody else is doing it. Oh, I'm going to this soup supper at church. I can eat like this. It's okay. She's very diligent. She buys into the purpose why she wants to make that change. And she understands, again, why she feels her body that way. She feels so much better when she eats the right foods and takes care of herself compared to when she has the high-fatty foods or too much of the wrong foods. I always use the example of a car. You put bad fuel in a car, it's not going to work as well. You put good fuel in a car, it'll work great. So very, very simple example to kind of go through. Avoidance, you behave in ways that prevent you from situations or people you experience as threatening. Example, I'm just too late for my office visit today, I'm not going to go. Okay, we see that a lot with different members that maybe the 6th, 7th, 8th week, they're kind of getting to that point where either it's more of a challenge or they just don't have the time, they don't know if they can provide value for it. Okay, our job is, again, accountability. Our job is to provide value for our members. Okay, so we're going to try to do that on a weekly basis. We're trying to not let them avoid that. We're going to try to encourage them to understand coming in on a weekly basis is very beneficial because it provides an insight and knowledge and value to you. So not allowing them to just kind of fall on that wayside of getting late. I always say getting lazy, but getting lazy with those types of pieces is very important. So again, that encouragement of understanding the why you're going to do that. So change, last one I swear. I talked about planting a tiny seed in the right spot. Okay, so you plant a tiny seed in the right spot with those tools and those choices. Allow it to grow. Plant that seed and allow those different changes to kind of develop in your life. The choices that we have in our life are very challenging. And again, finding a purpose and a reason why. Using those triggers to kind of utilize the right choices and find the right choices in your life is very beneficial. And from there, like I said, plant the seed and let it grow. Don't be afraid to take that initiative to make the change, to develop that kind of strategy with yourself, develop that strategy with your family, with your friends, your coworkers, whatever it may be. and provide that, the value and that the foundation of why that change is going to happen. So I use the Field of Dreams. I love that movie. It's a good movie. So I use that. If you build it, they will come. Kind of the same concept. Okay, build that foundation for the change, and good things will happen. Okay, and I know everybody in their life has something they probably want to work on, something they want to change, something they want to improve on. It's always, that's human nature. We want to improve our lives. We want to improve everything that we're going to do. So I think it's beneficial to kind of take that initiative to do that. So power and control. I think there's one more. A controlled life, this is just kind of recap, so I apologize for that. But the controlled life, being powerful, focused, full of possibility, again, finding that encouragement. When you're out of control, all is effective. I think that is very important to understand that when you don't have that control of your life, your relationships are affected. Your job is affected. Different pieces of your life are affected by that, lack of control of your life. And so that's a good thing that I kind of put this at the end, because I think that's my number one motivation, is why I want to do those different changes. I have my checklist because when I don't have those pieces in line with my life, all the other things factor. My relationship with my family factors, my relationship with my friends are a factor. It's very challenging to kind of keep up with those. And so making sure that you understand being in control of your life in all those areas is very important. And again, that's a reason why. Again, making sure you're responsible, and your feelings and your emotional well-being kind of ties with that. I know it's a challenge the first 3-4 weeks. I always tell people with our program, get through the first 3-4 weeks of that change, and then from there you'll be amazed with just the difference that you'll see in your life. Right away, it's very challenging to make that change, but the factors overall, 2-3 years, 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, and when it's a sustainable lifestyle change, things will come. So again, that's kind of really all I have on choice. 40 minutes. Wasn't too long or too short. A little bit more about our program. I guess I'll take the time now to explain a little bit about what we do. Like I mentioned at the beginning, we are backed by a large healthcare system. What that does is provides a great value and resource for us, having the physicians, scientists, registered dietitians work with us on a daily basis. They still have tons of support within our program and how we kind of manage the program. 22 locations nationwide, like I said, kind of right down in the middle of the United States. We've kind of really branched off, and we have one little outside to the east in Knoxville, Tennessee, 2 in Dallas, Texas, Kansas City. We're going to have one in Omaha opening up in April too as well. So a very, very rapidly growing program, but a very beneficial program, and we've seen a lot of changes with over 15,000 members nationwide now. So what kind of our structure of our program is we offer the nutrition, activity, and lifestyle program, or coaching. Coming to our location once a week, once every 2 weeks. Our coach kind of takes you through those areas, sets up a meal plan for you, gives you encouragement on the exercise side, as well as the behavioral, emotional things. That's what I think most beneficial. Like I said, 6, 7, 8 weeks into the program, they're really kind of diving into those pieces with people as a challenge, and as the nutrition kind of becomes second nature for the members. With that, we have technology. Our scale, our smart scale is kind of set up in the back. You can see that has the ability to sync to your profile plan webpage. So you take that scale home, it comes as part of the membership. Every time you weigh in, it syncs that number to the webpage. Allows the coach to track you, allows us to kind of continue to monitor your progress and work with you. At the same time, it allows us to do virtuals. We do virtual phone calls so if you can't make it into the office, or you're out of town, or even we have members in Virginia that will call us, and we'll ship them the product in different pieces like that. So we do utilize meal replacement bars and shakes. The benefit of the meal replacement is, again, choice. Okay, the encouragement, or the biggest thing I would say with the meal replacement products is it eliminates that choice. It provides value for the members in those aspects, and it eliminates their ability to go and grab all the different pieces. And so we provide pre-portioned packaging with the meal replacement products. Usually 4 to 5 products a day when you're on the more aggressive plan, and then from there you kind of transition to maybe 1 to 2. A lot of our members, we always tell them, we don't want you to be on the product for the rest of your life. We want to teach you the right foods to eat. We want to give you grocery lists. We want to provide insight on how to make the right choices with the foods that you're going to eat. So you're not going to be on the product for the rest of your life. Again, the product right away is a very beneficial factor because it eliminates that choice and provides structure for somebody that is challenging or challenged with that. So eventually we kind of transition to more of a balanced plan, what we always say. Whole food options will actually give grocery food lists, tell them this is the food you need to eat, this is how much you need to eat, go buy it, eat it on your own. So price-wise, we have an employer partner with Union Bank. With that employer partnership, it offers half off the membership and 20% off the product. So the membership retail price is $300. So for Union Bank employees, it's only $150, and that's for 12 months of coaching. Unlimited coaching for a year, very reasonably priced. If you want to come 4 times a week, you can come 4 times a week. We'll have to staff our store a little differently, but we'll come 4 times a week. A lot of times we'll come once a week, once every 2 weeks with that. So 20% of the product ranges between $2.25 to $2.50 per product. And again, that's replacing what you're eating right now. Okay, that's on top of what you're eating right now. So if you're having 4 to 5 loaves a day, plus a few whole food options, even on a more aggressive plan, there's still one whole food meal, your night meal, your dinner. If you want it that way, it's typically more of a whole food option, so you can have a meal with your family, different things like that. So, but again, it's all individually tailored, so if it's something that we have to modify accordingly with different plans or different food items, we can do that. Again, to me, the biggest thing that sets us apart is our coaching, the accountability factor, as well as the technology and pieces like that. So that's about all I have. Like I said, a lot of information. I appreciate you guys taking the time to listen to me. And I'll try to get off on tangents when I do presentations. But hopefully I provided value. Hopefully I provided an application for your guys' life to make a difference. So any big questions about our program or about the choice?
Are your products gluten-free?
We do have some that are gluten-free, yes. We have soy-free products, gluten-free products, aspartame-free products. All of the products I've actually been in meetings. Excuse me, I've been in meetings up at our corporate office in Sioux Falls where there's some of the physicians and scientists and all those people are in there and they're talking about this sweetener and this one and they're throwing them out. It's way over my head. I have no idea what they're talking about. But it's kind of cool to know that people like that are involved in the program and making sure the products. It's our product. We're developing the ingredients and the formula for the product. So, kind of a cool thing. Other questions?
So this will be my lunch then?
Not necessarily lunch. No. Could be a snack.
Oh.
I use the product more as the bars. The bars are typically kind of that snack, mid-afternoon snack. You want to eat every 5 to 6 meals a day, every 2 to 3 hours. So the bars are usually utilized as a snack in the afternoon. A little higher in sugar, but higher in protein as well. So it kind of provides that energy late in the afternoon. And then the shakes are more of the meal replacement. We have soups and shakes and some entree options, like some sloppy joes and chili type things. So breakfast items as well, oatmeals and pancakes and things like that. So. All right. Well, if there's no other questions, thank you for your time. And Steve and myself, if you have anything else on profile, questions, just let us know. So.
What are your hours?
7 to 7 Monday through Friday and 8 to 5 on Saturday. So we have a lot of availability for people that work for the day. We're open until 7, so it's kind of nice. And the Saturday option too. So. And all of our coaches are all certified through a profile certification, as well as I think every one of them graduated from Lincoln, Nebraska here. So great value with them.
That was an annual effect?
That's annual, correct, 12 months. And then renewal rate for second year is only $75.
And if you have a spouse or someone in your household that would want to join, they could join at $150, and if you guys